branches, or not go where my heart wanted to lead me, 'cause I was too afraid. Everybody gets a chance, but not everybody takes it. Everybody gets a shot, but not everybody makes it. So if I'm gonna run, yeah, I know that I might stumble, but in the end the hurt is always worth the risk. 'Cause everybody dies, but not everybody lives. Life is short, it really is. All that matters in the end is what you did with it. Everybody gets a chance, but not everybody takes it. Everybody gets a shot, but not everybody makes it. So if I'm gonna run, yeah, I know that I might stumble, but in the end the hurt is always worth the risk. 'Cause everybody dies, but not everybody
Welcome back to Turning the Tide. We've had a fabulous first hour with national author Lisa Black about her book, Defensive Wounds, and we're going to shift just a little bit to one of my absolutely favorite singers. Her name is Jessie Funk. She is a superstar in her genre, and she has now launched into the national market. Gone country, our Jessie has, haven't you?
Yes, it's such an exciting road. Thank you, Candace, for having me on.
Oh, I am excited. I have so many questions and so many things I want to talk about. So first, I want to tell everyone you can go to jessiefunk.com. That is her website, and that's where you can learn all the things about this wonderful lady. Now, her latest, she's got a CD out called Dance in the Rain, and her latest single is, why don't you tell us what it is and where it's at and what you're doing with it, Jessie?
Our newest single is called Not Everybody Lives. It's the first track on this album called Dance in the Rain, and we're about to do a music video for it, so I'm kind of excited.
I can't wait, and as soon as you get it done, which is after the 1st of December, I guess you'll send it to us so we can debut it on the show, right?
You rock, of course.
Oh, I'm excited. It's a good song. Actually, Dance in the Rain is one of my favorite CDs, and so I'm really thrilled that to be able to have you on the show, Jessie, and talk about what you're doing and what you're up to these days. So we are coming up on Christmas.
I know.
And there is something that is always a standard in Utah at Christmas. What is that, Jessie?
A standard in Utah? Is that a trick question? I don't know.
You don't know. Come on. It's you and Dan Beck doing a Christmas show.
Oh, I wish. That would be fantastic. We don't do a Christmas show, but that's a good idea, Candace. I'm going to give you a royalty if we start that up. I'm sad, though. Dan Beck just moved to California, so we're not even going to be doing a Valentine's show. We've done that the last 5 years, and
I know.
he just moved, so we're not even going to be doing that. But hopefully something will happen with him because he's going to be kind of coming back and forth and doing some fun things. So I think a Christmas show is a great idea. If you're fine, you should do it.
I think you guys need to do a Christmas show, and he can fly back into a Valentine's show.
It's true. I know. We are trying to figure it out because it's so fun. It's been such a fun tradition. We've had people propose to their loved ones on stage, and it's just become a really fun tradition. So I don't know. We're trying to figure it out, but there's a lot of other fun things happening. So we'll see.
Like what?
My Ivy Girl Academy is going swimmingly. We just had an amazing event September 10th of this year. We had 100 young ladies in the Davis Conference Center in Layton, Utah, and it just went so well. It was so much fun. So next fall, we are planning on expanding across the country. We're going to have an event in Texas, in Mesa, Arizona, St. George, Utah, Provo, Utah, and Idaho Falls, Idaho.
Wow. Okay. Well, you jumped ahead in my questions to Ivy Girl Academy. So why don't you tell the listeners what Ivy Girl Academy is, and then I have got some things that I think you and I need to talk about in regards to what young ladies face today.
Oh, I'd love it. Yeah, this program is a confidence and leadership training program for teenage girls ages 12 to 18, and we hold one-day workshops where we cover 12 different areas of how to be a classy, elegant, confident leader. Areas such as gratitude, service, motherhood, goal setting. We do a whole grooming segment where we talk about how important it is to always look our best, because when we look our best, we can feel confident on the inside. We talk about dining etiquette, where we do a 5-course dinner. We also do a lot of craft activities, teaching the girls how to set goals and live empowered and exciting lives through, living through their goals. And we just talk about a lot of exciting things that can help these girls really accept who they are, and also constantly be trying to become their very best selves. So it's an exciting program, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. And our website is ivygirlacademy.com.
Okay. Now that we've got that out of the way, because I wanted you to give them a foundation as to why I'm going to bring up this next topic.
Okay.
I don't really pay attention to what goes on in Hollywood. I'm sorry, but I don't. There's so much nonsense that goes on out there. But a story caught my eye the other day, and it was about Miley Cyrus and how the press is giving her a really hard time for being fat.
Oh.
And that girl is not fat.
Oh my God.
And I started thinking about, like Keira Knightley, who is painfully thin, and Nicole Richie, who struggled with anorexia. And I myself, when I was in high school, struggled with anorexia. And so this is why it really caught my eye. Why don't you talk about how critical it is to young girls to have a realistic understanding of their bodies, of who they are, who they really are inside, and how important it is to not let Hollywood or New York define who you are.
Oh, absolutely. It's so ridiculous because it's this game that the media has played, and unfortunately for them to get their ratings and to sell, their magazines and whatever, they have really messed up the beautiful minds of these young girls who are coming into the world, who are still trying to figure out life in general, and they get these mixed messages from the media. They think they actually have to look like these photoshopped images in these magazines. They sincerely feel that that is what beauty is, when it's not even based on any kind of truth. So it's just really messed up the psyche of our beautiful young teenagers. So it's very frustrating to see that, because I talk and work with a lot of teenage girls, and they sincerely feel that. And I have felt that in my life when I was younger. I wanted so badly to I wanted a thinner, shorter nose, and I wanted to be skinnier, and I wanted to always have tan skin. And anyway, all these things that we have this obsession with outward beauty. And so our program is sincerely trying to kind of combat that unrealistic expectation. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help these girls understand that while it is absolutely important to always look our best on the outside, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, trying to put your best foot forward. We're also trying to help them accept who they are on the inside, and to try to be their best selves on the inside, and to create confidence from the inside out instead of from the outside in. And so I think what the media has done is so tragic, because these sweet girls, I mean, they're coming into the world and they're already confused. They're already struggling. There's so many struggles that I'm sure you and we could talk about that forever, what we struggled with when we were teenagers. And it's even worse, even harder today. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to combat that.
Well, yesterday I had the opportunity to talk or to interview for 2 hours Dr. Nancy Coburn, who wrote a book called The Banality of Suicide Terrorism. And the whole basis of the book was the devaluing of women in the Arabic culture, and what damage that wreaks, it just ravages the family unit in so many ways. And then I read this story about Miley Cyrus, and it also brought to mind another instance where we had the opportunity to spend some time with some teenage girls, and they were very mean. Very, very mean, and inappropriately speaking to their parents and stuff like that. And I was talking to my adoptive son as we were, and when I say adoptive son, it means he was a grown man, and we said, you're adopted. Nothing official. And I was telling him it's really sad when you see young girls who can be pretty but aren't because they're so awful. Yeah. But they don't have. And then there are girls who appear to be plain, but who they are on the inside just shines out and just radiates out and makes them beautiful. And I wish there was a way to help young girls understand that it is more critical to focus on the inside than the outside.
Absolutely. I totally agree. It is. It's just such a hard thing. It's a hard thing to watch. When I do my motivational speaking, I go to a lot of high schools around the country and I speak for assemblies, and I just get a chance to see, I'm inside the school, and maybe while I'm setting up my stuff, or I'm sitting in the audience while I'm waiting to be introduced or something, I can hear conversations around me, and you're absolutely right. It doesn't matter how gorgeous you are. If you are mean-spirited, if you are judgmental, if you gossip constantly, you are not pretty. And I truly believe that all of those issues are based on a lack of confidence, and that's why our program is so focused on confidence, because I believe that any young girl, or any human for that matter, I think that if you're truly happy, you have no need to be mean. So when someone is being so just downright cruel, it's because they want everyone to come down to their level. Misery loves company. We all know that. And so that's why we focus so much on confidence, because when you feel that you are a confident person, that you are worthwhile, that you're valuable, that you are lovable, regardless of your weight, regardless of your complexion, regardless of any of that, you still can feel beautiful. And so it's so important for these girls to understand who they are so that they're not constantly projecting their insecurities on everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. Now, does the Ivy Girl Academy have anything for these girls, like a newsletter or something that goes out regularly that gets them between the conferences?
We don't, but we are actually in the process of designing something like that. We're trying to create a forum where girls can just hop on our website and discuss things with each other. We're going to have monthly newsletters and audio CDs that are sent out with amazing interviews with celebrities and different authorities on the subject of confidence and leadership. And I'm hoping it can be kind of a community for just teenage girls, that they can kind of come and connect with other teenage girls. So we're in the process of creating that. You're like inside my head, Candace. You're magical.
Oh. Well, it's just important, I think, in the world today when we look at the media, we look at the movies, we look at television, and we see the image that is going out for both actually young men and young women. I can't see a way for them to truly understand who they are inside if they buy into that image that is being peddled. Yeah. And so I just so desperately want them to realize who they are. And that show I did yesterday with Dr. Coburn was really depressing in a way, because once we got through going through the dynamics of an a Muslim Arabic family, all I could think in my head was, how did they even come out normal if they can? Yeah. How is it possible when the woman is devalued so much? And then here in America, we don't have the devaluing of women within a patriarchal order, but we have the devaluing of women by pornography, by television. They have these television series that portray a image of teenage girls and teenage boys, which, by the way, are generally speaking in their 20s playing teenagers. Uh-huh. And then they go to high school, or they go to junior high, and they try to recreate what they have seen on television, instead of understanding that here in America we celebrate individuality. We celebrate thinking for ourselves instead of going into a group mentality. And that's why, Jessie, I think the Ivy Girl Academy does such an amazing work across the board, and I am thrilled that you're taking it across the nation.
Thank you, Candace. I'm excited about it. Whether anyone listening is religious or not, it's been a very divinely guided road for me, and I'm just enjoying it so much because I know that I'm not in control of it. I know that it's something that has to happen for these girls, and I'm glad that I get to be the instrument. But but this program is much bigger than me, and I really believe that we can do a lot of good through it, and hopefully create I want it to become a rite of passage, like a girl she can't, like, realistically go off to college without attending an Ivy Girl Academy. I mean, it's just what you do. That's kind of what I'm create, because I just think what we teach is so universal, so fundamental, and can give these girls a foundation that they can build from. And when you have a solid foundation of that confidence, and you're valuing yourself, and you know who you are, then you can build a skyscraper on top of that. But if you have a cracked foundation, it's so hard to become everything you're meant to become. You must have a solid foundation, and I believe that confidence is that foundation.
Well, confidence without question, but I think an understanding of who you are as an individual, meaning maybe you want to be, okay, here's a perfect example. Okay. When I was a teenager, I wanted to sing on Broadway, but I didn't and still do not have the vocal chops to do something like that. My voice is a nice, sweet voice, but it's not a power voice. And you got to have a power voice on Broadway. Okay. And so I could have spent my life trying to make my voice something it wasn't and probably destroyed it in the process, or look for my own gifts and talents. And mine happened to be writing and communication. Those happen to be the things that I excel at. Right. And so I embraced those. I thought, okay, so I'm not going to be on Broadway, but my goodness, look what I can do with this. Absolutely. This is who and what I can be, and I do not have to be a brilliant composer musician like my little sister.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's so great. What a great lesson that right there is for teens. Absolutely.
Well, it'd be really sad if everybody had the same gifts and talents and we were cookie cutters of each other. How boring would the world be, Jessie?
Oh, totally. I know it. That's why it's so exciting to celebrate individual strengths and even individual weaknesses, because I think you're right, just that we're all unique, and we can celebrate that. We don't have to be afraid of it, and we don't have to be ashamed of that.
Oh, absolutely. It's really funny. I mean, I'm a religious woman, you know that. And many, many years ago, when I was just starting college, I made a deal with Heavenly Father, which, I don't recommend. But anyway, I said to him after a couple of years, I'm like, because I have some artistic talent, and I have some singing talent, and I have some writing talent, and I have a brilliant mind for because I wanted to be a prosecutor, a criminal prosecutor. I
didn't know that. That is so cool.
Yeah, I did. There were so many things I wanted to do. I had talent in all these areas, but where my best talent was writing, obviously. Excuse me. I'm recovering from bronchitis, and these coughs come up. Anyway, and so I made a deal with Heavenly Father. I said, okay, I will focus on my writing. I will hone that skill. I will develop it. I will refine it until it is the best of the best, and I will work hard, and I will write. But when I die, I want music lessons and art lessons, and I went down the list of everything I wanted to do. And then 20 years later, I was praying, and I heard this quiet little voice saying, your deal's accepted. I'm like, 20 years later?
That is so funny.
You know what? We number one, we have to take seriously who we are as individuals, who we are meant to become. But second, we also have to not take ourselves so seriously that we lock ourselves into a box is the point of that story.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're totally right.
Yeah.
I can totally see you saying that.
I swear sometimes when I'm praying, my husband will open his eyes and look at me and say, you did not just say that. I'm like, yeah, I did.
And that's why we love you, Candace. You are real. You are authentic. You're a beautiful leader.
Thanks, Jessie.
You're so
okay. Sorry, I've got the giggles. I don't know why. I'm just going through all these asinine things I did growing up and as a young woman, and I'm thinking it's a good thing you're around to help these other young women not repeat my mistakes.
Oh, whatever. Those aren't mistakes. Those types of things are what have helped you become so amazing. That's why we love you. I'm such a fan. I don't know if you know that. Have I told you that in the last hour? Because I'm a huge fan. You there? Candace?
Just with my configuration last night, and didn't have time to go over everything this morning, so
That's okay.
yeah, it's making me crazy. Anyway, okay, can't remember where we left off, dang it. Upcoming conferences. Okay, let me repeat the question. All right, Jessie, as far as upcoming conferences, I understand that you're taking a trip to Ireland. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's kind of a fun thing. It's kind of not related to anything I do except singing. About 4 years ago, I had a stillborn daughter. Her name is Jordan, and I wrote a book to just for a tribute to her called Calling All Angels. And this beautiful organization in Ireland found my book, and they invited me to come over to a conference that they had for everyone who had lost a child through stillbirth or miscarriage in Ireland. And so they just wanted me to come and sing one song and just be a part of this beautiful, amazing conference that they did last year. And so I was really excited. They asked me to come back again, and it's just been a wonderful opportunity to connect with amazing people that spend a lot of their time trying to make sure that these babies aren't forgotten. It's beautiful.
Do you know, it is really important. I myself had 8 miscarriages, and someone told me after my 8th miscarriage, they said, do you know, I found it was much easier to heal when I gave those babies I lost a name and made a record of their birthday. And I thought, oh my goodness, why hadn't I ever thought of that? And I sat down, and Alvin and I went back over time, and we figured out precisely when and what. We gave each baby a name. We put them in our family genealogy just for us, not for the records for anybody else, you know. Uh-huh. And they are a real and very pertinent part of our family. And it really did help in the healing and in the being able to progress past that point, you know.
Absolutely. It really does. I had a few people tell me, you know, you can just move on from this baby, and after, you know, miscarriage or my stillbirth, and they'd say, you can just move on, you can have more babies, and I'm like, I don't want to just, like, forget. I don't want to just move on. I'm not going to discard her, you know what I mean? So, yeah, making it a big deal. I wrote that book for her. My husband wrote this beautiful song called Calling All Angels for her. It was just really beautiful, and we buried her in a little bracelet that was for, you know, her size, and then I have an adult version of the same bracelet. So when I wear that bracelet, it helps me to remember her. So I think it's so important to remember these beautiful spirits that come into our lives.
Oh, without question, because they are part of the family. They are part of who and what we are, and it would be a sad, sad day if we just forgot them and thought, oh, well, I can have another, which you can. I mean, it's not that you can't, right. But yes, to me, they are also a very integral and critical part of our family. So that's an exciting thing to be a part of, Jessie. That is just wonderful. You know, my heritage is from Ireland, part of it, and I love Ireland, and I have this goal to get back there one day.
I can see you being Irish. You've got Irish spunk in you. You're spicy.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. It's true. I don't know what to say about that.
I love it.
Yeah, okay. We are going to be going to a break in about 5 minutes. And so before we do that, I wanted you, before we close this topic of the Ivy Girl Academy and young women and what they're facing in the world today, I would like you to give a message to the young women of America that can maybe help them to realize that they don't need to be defined by the media.
Okay. If I had every young woman in the entire state, our entire country sitting down here, I would tell them that they need to remember that they were born with 100% confidence. All of us were born with this beautiful gift to celebrate ourselves and celebrate our unique strengths and weaknesses, and that over time, we get these messages, we get hurt, we get betrayed, we have embarrassments and mistakes that we make, and we slowly start to lose that beautiful confidence. But we have it in us. It's in us. We just have to remember it. And I truly believe this because, I mean, these might seem like silly examples, but King Arthur, before he pulled the sword from the stone, he was King Arthur. But at that point in his life, he just didn't know it yet. He didn't know how great he was already, and he just had to pull that sword from the stone. Or on Kung Fu Panda, he's a noodle maker. The Po the panda is a noodle maker. He's insecure. He's nervous, and he waits until he doesn't find out until the very end of the movie that there's no secret ingredient. He was the dragon warrior the entire time. His entire life he was the dragon warrior. He just didn't know it yet. So the greatness is already in us. We were born with the greatness. And I think slowly through our lives, sometimes we just forget that. So I would hope that they can just remember that the greatness is already in them and that all they have to do is really make decisions, good choices about who they are, who they want to be, and that they can choose to let go of the past and live very presently and engaged right now, and that they can be excited about their spotless future. There's no limits in this amazing country that we live in. We're so blessed to live in America. So that's my message. Remember your greatness.
Oh, that is powerful, Jessie. We're going to take a quick break, about 2.5 minutes, and then we will be back on the other side, and we will pick up where we left off, okay?
All right.